So here's my raw review of the I don't know what is the date today. I think it's what is the date today? I think it's probably 14th or 15th January edition of Monday Night Raw, and this was the Raw that should be the norm going forward. Maybe we'll not get these many matches, and also even if we get these many matches, we'll not get them, one after the other. Maybe cut a match here, add another segment there, but this is the kind of template that I think is will be very great going forward. I Because not one match was bad from this show, and every match had some moments where you'll be like, yeah, oh, it will make you go, oh, or it will like, oh, great move. You will not be bored watching this show. One thing that I can assure you, I think apart from like one segment, you will not be bored of watching this show. Starting with the most headline worthy thing, Penta debuted. Penta finally debuted in the WWE, and you can't ask for a better debut. First of all, I think is this is not only regarding Penta but regarding everything. The aura that the Raw as a show has is something else. The way the graphics are set up, the way the arena is set up, the way the stage is set up, the tables, the announcers tables, the commentary, it feels like a big show. Like if you're on Raw, you're on a show, not like a wrestling show normal, like, oh, Monday Night Raw. No, it was like Raw, Netflix. When you say that, it's like, oh, this is big shit. Like, it feels like it's big shit. And that's what it felt like. If you want to be on a show, be on WWE Raw. And that felt with every wrestler on this show. It felt like they were in some kind of, big WWE pay-per-view. Like, it had the vibe still of the Intuit Dome. Like, it felt like they were doing some kind of, international super show or something. Just the vibes of the arena, the way the pillars were there, it was just something magical, I could say. The way the entrance graphics are set up, even after the show ended, the executive producers Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting, even that has changed a little bit. This Raw has the feeling of it's a different show, it's something big. It has the feeling of that show. Even the moving graphics and everything, it has got like every show is in a stadium or something, even though it's not, but it feels like that. It has some, it has aura. And then if you look into it with Penta's debut, I think they did everything right. Even Michael Cole mentioned on commentary that it's the worst kept secret. He mentioned Lucha Underground. He even mentioned TNA, that he was a world champion there. He didn't mention anything of AEW, but and Pentagon Jr. will be known as Penta, just Penta in the WWE. His theme music didn't really bother me that much. It was fine. It was generic metal beat, kind of like what Stephanie Wacker has got. Like it's like a generic metal beat. Yeah, it has the the sprinklings of a Def Rebel song. It has the CERO MIEDO, doom 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 doom, like what Def Rebel does every time. But the presentation is great. Like first they announced him, they didn't announce like pounds for him. They said he weighed 78 kilograms, and the way that Alicia Taylor said, Penta, like I think it really showcased him as like a star. Even though I don't like her as an announcer, but she did her job well here. Even his entrance, the graphics, the red lighting and everything, it makes you feel like, oh, this guy is special, this guy is something else. And you can see he had that sexy ass strut going towards the ring. He had this CERO Miedo and everything, and he had a perfect dance partner in Chad Gable. The thing is, I'm waiting for Netflix to come here, because they have, instead of commercials, they have promos throughout the show for international audiences. Sony Live just does ads. Like they do ads, like when the US shows goes to ad, they do the ad. And sometimes they do it in mid. Yeah, they only do the ads when like the US telecast goes to ad. Like I remember that they were doing one ad, and it just, I think the ad was short, so you could just see like the end of the New Day promo, like the New Day was just standing there. So it felt like they had known when we have to, put up a ad and we'll do it. I'm just waiting for WWE to go to Netflix in India. I have a subscription. I can't wait for it. And the thing is, even the show, you could say the promos, the video packages were made in a different way. The camera quality was different. Even the backstage felt different. It just felt different. Penta had a match. He had a couple of botches, you could say, but they were not really, I think, for the length that the match was, they were not really, noticeable that much. If this would have been a short match, that would have been much more noticeable than usual. I think it was because Penta was a little excited, and also that he's like what, 40 years old or something, so he has slowed down. He is not really that good of a wrestler now. He had a great I like Chad Gable made him look like a star. Like Triple H probably told him, go make Penta look like a star, and Chad Gable did everything to make Penta look like a star. Like Penta was selling in this match. Like Gable got his offense in this match. This actually shows how good of a wrestler Chad Gable is. And he got the Yusak chance also. First of all, shout out to the San Jose, California crowd. Like they were awesome. Like they were better than like many of the people we had for the shows for the last few weeks. Like they it felt like a pay-per-view or something, like we were in some foreign city or something. The way that the San Jose, California crowd was loud for everything, especially they were into the wrestling a lot. Even apart from that, I think they were a little silent, maybe you could say, for the a little bits of the Drew promo, but overall they were great. Like their reactions to the show made me feel like I'm not watching Raw, I'm watching a pay-per-view or something. And Chad Gable showed out, especially the belly to back suplex that he did to Penta. Like Penta landed right on his head or something. Penta did a plancha, I think, outside the flying senton or something over the top rope, and he Chad Gable didn't catch him at all. He landed on his back and head both. There were the CERO MIEDO chants were reverberating throughout the arena. The Canadian destroyer cell that Chad Gable did, he was like, he got spiked and he just, like, he was dead. Like Chad Gable is something else. Like I'm not going to say Chad Gable is the perfect package, because in promos you can say he does, his voice is a little bit like a scared child or something, and he does need to work on his promo skills a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, how do you work on your voice, because you cannot change your voice. Maybe hide it a little bit, maybe to show himself as serious. Maybe he needs to talk less, because his facial expressions are good, but maybe his voice is not that good. But Chad Gable showed out, and like many people have said on Twitter earlier, and as I have said today, American Made should now go to the SmackDown and be the Judgment Day of 2023, but for SmackDown. Like Judgment Day of 2023 was for Raw, American Made should be for SmackDown. I think that should be the formula going forward. The only thing that that they should do is like, this can work. I think it can work. It can really work. Like, what was the Judgment Day, man? The Judgment Day eventually, through the Rey Mysterio feud, Edge feud, became something. Triple H came in and he made them the heater act of Monday Night Raw. Like, this was the act that the upper to mid card baby faces can face throughout the year, to before going for the Romans title, as he was not there, or when the world title came, to heat themselves, to be the baby faces, to get over with the crowd, and then go for the championships again when they are free. Because there is a time where you have to give like a brief period of pause, that you have to pause it, like you have to give a breathing period for the people to it will be a time before we get back to face him again, and also for people to to elevate them, to go from like new faces to being like established babyface acts, which you can say kind of like LA Knight feuded against Judgment Day. You can say about that. Jey Uso, when he came to Raw, he feuded with Judgment Day, and he was already over, but he got more over from that. So you can say an American Made can be that faction on SmackDown, and for that you don't even have to present them as like top serious heels. Like Judgment Day was not serious heels. You could just present them as the moronic heels that they are, just that you need to have give them more wins and have them go go against legit competitors and win some matches. It can be by cheating, but win some matches. Maybe get some titles in the future on their hands. Get tag titles on the creeds. Ivy Nile, I think she is. You can say maybe she doesn't have that many mic skills, but she had, even in the Roderick Strong stable, her character essentially was she's a cold bitch. That's what you should do with her. Like, what was Rhea was that she's like she can go against the men. She's so strong and everything. I'm not saying Ivy Nile is Rhea, but hide the weaknesses and accentuate the positives. And Ivy Nile can be a big positive for a women's division. Not saying that you have to make a women's champion. You have a mid card championship right there. You don't have to give her the title, but just have a mix it up with them. And then Penta hit the sacrifice. I would have Chad Gable be on SmackDown, but for like till the Royal Rumble, I would have him be in a cast or something to sell the sacrifice. And then he hit the Penta Driver and he won. And then they had Jackie Redmond come out after the match, and she did an interview, and it really made it feel like he was El Mystico or something. He was, what was that Mexican wrestler's name? El Salvador. I don't know. I have El Santos or something. Like he's an international superstar. Like these kind of things, like really like put thoughts in the head of people that he's meant to be a big star. Take him seriously, and that was it. Like Penta thanked his family. I think in Spanish he was like, I, as a Mexican, it is also a very big deal for him. He said that this is not only new era, this is not only Netflix era, this is Penta new era, and that was it. And a great debut, a great match. I may rewatch Raw also because because of the ads. We didn't really get much of the Sheamus Kaiser match, but I would love to see this Raw again. And that was Penta. One thing is that you know it has been with Triple H that you first get in, you have a little bit of momentum, and then you kind of go meh and then down. And also his booking of luchadors is not the best, kind of brinking on the racist type of territory also. The thing with Penta is it's not what we want, it's what the WWE sees him as. Because let's not forget that Penta was seen as a tag team wrestler when he was being brought up in to WWE, because they thought they were going to bring Penta and Phoenix both. Then Penta had to shoot his mouth off and then get Ray, his deal extended by a year or something. So if we have to see what are the revised expectations that the creative team has from Penta, because what do you do with Penta now? Like, you were originally going to bring him in a tag team with Ray Phoenix, but now he's a single star. Like, I would probably have him, like, the Rumble is the next goal. I think right now it's not really a major problem, because either you put him in with the LWO, whatever the LWO and the New Day is doing, and then have him eventually turn heel on Rey Mysterio. Then that sets up Rey and Penta in the future. You can get Dragon Lee. Maybe when Penta turns heel, you could have Dragon Lee with him, Dragon Lee and Zelina with him, and you can have Rey Mysterio and the original Legado del Fantasma with Rey Mysterio. That way you can set up for the future as well. You can have tag matches, maybe get Bad Bunny involved in that to have Penta destroy his ass at WrestleMania. But then you have to look at it. If it was me, like right now, you don't really have to put him in any major feuds. Like you could just have him declare for the Rumble next. It is simple. He said that this is Penta new era, na? So he can say, "This is Penta new era, and my first goal is to go and win the world championship." And for me to do that is to enter the Royal Rumble. And you can do stories like people are kind of like, pissed at him because who is this new guy who just comes in wearing a mask, 40-year-old guy, and says that it is his new era, and he just declares for the Rumble and he has so much attitude. The heels can be angry, the faces can be angry as well. Someone like a Braun Breaker can be like, "Oh, I never faced you, but going around here, I am the Intercontinental Champion." Maybe you can set up, future feuds for Penta out of him just announcing for the Rumble match, because he will piss many people off. Because here some new guy comes, you can have Penta like interrupt, like when there are multiple people in the ring announcing for the Rumble or talking about it, you have a wild Penta appears, and everyone is angry with him. That way, first you can have him do some crazy maneuvers, and the commentary can be like, "Oh, the crazy things that Penta can do. What will happen in the Rumble? He will be like a great, foe to everyone." And that way, you can build Penta up for the Rumble and also have build Penta's feuds for later on. I would have him do that. Then going forward, we had Sammy, and I think Karen Cross is a very good promo. He has very luscious hair, like him. Like Wyatt Six are drafted to SmackDown now. I don't have a problem with that, but I would hope that the Wyatt Six gets at least one final match against the Final Testament before they fully go. And the thing is, with Wyatt Six going to the SmackDown, you can have they should get their last match against Final Testament. Like Dexter Loomis beat Miz on the Christmas episode, right? Like just get Wyatt Six their final match, and then they move on to SmackDown, because I have yeah, yeah, and uh, then let them go to SmackDown. The thing is, I get why they're moving them to SmackDown, because it's a 3 hour show, spooky nonsense and all. But Triple H has to be called out here. He has fumbled Wyatt Six, because the momentum that they had from the Chad Gable feud, the reactions that they were getting from the crowd from the Chad Gable feud, and then they go off air for like what feels like months. Then they feud with the Final Testament, which is like a jobber faction. But I get it, because they don't have any other type of faction that they can go into a feud with. They are more like serious factions which will not really gel with the Wyatt Six feud. The thing that they have to look at for the Wyatt Six future is to kind of humanize them a bit. They have humanized them a bit. Like they, when they come to the ring to fight, they are normal competitors, but they have to like further simplify it to make sure that Triple H doesn't really like these spooky type of things. So they to make sure that the Wyatt Six get booked regularly on TV, and they just don't disappear for months. I hope that's what happens. And after what happened in the Damien versus Balor match, I think the Judgment Day is also going to SmackDown. I think what's probably gonna happen is Judgment Day and American Made are going to be on SmackDown, and maybe both the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline will probably go to Raw through this transfer portal. I think that's what's going to happen. Uh, and for me, that's fine, because Judgment Day going to SmackDown, the WrestleMania match is the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day. So you need to have that. Then the Judgment Day can split up. You'll probably have the full draft after WrestleMania. So anyway, you can then split up people. Maybe have Dom go to Raw, have Finn stay on SmackDown with JD or something. You can do things like that. So I will have that also. And then probably then going forward, the Sammy, like Karen Cross was essentially talking shit, doing the whole The Simpsons, like some face guy gets destroyed, I did it, and kind of egging Sami Zayn on, that you couldn't win a world title, your friendship. I heard a conversation that your friendship is kind of ending and all, and then you had Sami Zayn was like, okay, I'll fight you, Miz. Miz was like, I'm a two-time world champion. Sam was like, I'll still beat your ass, and that was how it set up. Their match was fine, I think. Especially, I like the combo, like the Helluva kick, and then going into a Blue Thunder powerbomb. I like that combination much more than the Blue Thunder powerbomb to the Helluva kick. I think the Helluva kick, especially in emotional matches where, like like a Sami Zayn versus the Uso match, or Sami Zayn versus the Roman match, the Helluva kick is adds much more to the match as a finishing move. But I think if there are like normal feuds, you can have Blue Thunder powerbomb as the finisher and the Helluva kick as the signature move. I think that's good. I get why they did this match. They want to heat up Sami Zayn. They also want to like plant seeds of eventual storyline in the future of Sami Zayn finally fighting for himself and going for the world title. I get that. Overall, you could have cut this match and added it to the Lyra versus Dakota Kai match. Lyra and Dakota had a great video package. For the minutes that they were given, had a great match. Like they were bumping. Like the what was, I think it was the suplex on the outside or something. Like they bumped their head off or something. It was really good. Overall, like they tried to kill each other with the minutes that they got, and Lyra won. It was the right decision. She has the more upside, and I see her as like a future world champion. She just has to get the character. Even the character part is fine. Like, what was Becky Lynch as the man character? The man signified Becky Lynch, who was like a goody two shoes girl who finally took matters into her hands and became a badass. That's essentially the man Becky character. Like, what is Lyra essentially what right now? Like, she's a good wrestler who is inspired from like bird lady pigeons or something, but overall she has the more upside. Once she gets into programs with someone like a Becky or something, she will improve a lot more on the mic, on the character skills as well. Dakota Kai looked very good in the match. She didn't really look good against Liv Morgan, but here she looked really well. I liked her here. And the Mania match is probably going to be Becky, because I expected Becky to come out, but they're saving Becky and Charlotte for the Royal Rumble. I had thought that just because it's Netflix, so they're probably gonna have, to hype up their Raw shows, they're probably gonna have major returns on Raws, but I think they're holding a lot for the Rumble. So this Rumble can be awesome. Like the women's Rumbles for the past 2 years have been better than the men, and they have been good also. Like you can say that the first Cody Rumble, the last stretch with Gunther was awesome, but apart from that, the match was not good. And the 2024 one, the match was not good at all. And Cody came at 30. Only thing good was that Cody won the Rumble. The men, the thing is, the men's Rumble has hype this time. It had hype last time also. It has hype this time, and also it has like various story tropes. It had story tropes last time also, but I think this time it has more story tropes than before. And this time it's unpredictable also. We have CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I'm just hoping that what is Lyra's first feud going to be as champion? Probably a rematch against Dakota Kai. I think what's probably going to happen is PFC, because there is no other mid card women's stable that Lyra can go against. It's the PFC. With the Damage Control are faces, and PFC are the heel stables. I don't think there are any more heel stables, because Alba Fire and Lyra and Alba Fire and her tag partner, like they've gone to NXT and they're not really a faction. They're just a tag team. So it's probably going to be PFC, but Lyra can get good matches out of them. And you had Drew, Punk, and Seth also in the opening segment. I thought just the way the setting was a little bit weird for me, because the way the three were in the segment, it felt a little bit awkward. but but the you know the the material that they had, that was really good, and that made really much, that made sense, especially Punk's. Like it was just like one smacker after another smacker. Like Punk said to Seth Rollins, like, you're going to take the easy route because you couldn't pin me, you're going to throw me out, over the top rope. Like Seth's goal essential is that I may have lost, it was the biggest loss of my career, but my goal is to make sure that you don't go into the main event of WrestleMania for the world title. That was essentially what Seth Rollins' goal is. CM Punk also had references to John Cena. Then Drew came out, and Punk. Drew is Punk's bitch. Like since Drew has come back, whenever someone has made a Punk-related insult to him, he just has a stone face, or he just doesn't respond because he knows he got pitched out. Like Seth had made earlier also, and this time Punk did. Like Punk did, you were crying at my feet and everything, and Drew said I was talking to Seth Rollins because he called him like an egomaniac or something. And Drew was kind of right. You could say like here the story would have made much more sense if Drew had beaten Jay. But if Drew had beaten Jay, Gunther won't have like an opponent right now. So okay, but I hope Drew, after the Saturday night's main event or after the Rumble, gets back to Jay or Sammy, because he started off like a bounty hunter, like he's taking out the bloodline, right? But okay, he has beaten Sammy in 2 matches. He did take out Jay for like 2 weeks. But what has it actually done? Sammy still interfered in the bloodline match. Jay is challenging for the world title. So I would want like Drew to have a goal to like end these people. And you can prevent that. I just would have him have that goal to end these people. You could prevent that by uh, maybe the forces are too strong, or maybe he gets involved in something else. That's how you do it. But Drew also had a point, like, why would I fight both of you? Like, both of them were like ready to fight, and Punk just was like, Punk was awesome. Like, he said, like, I hate both of you, I can't stand both of you, so whoever is going to like swing at me, swing at me. Drew was like, there are bigger problems. Like, Roman Reigns has the falafel, he said, instead of the ulafal. I didn't get it the first time. I saw it on like Twitter, on like YouTube, and then I got it, like he called the ula fala the falafel. I think from the Ross's stream, I got that he called the ula fala the falafel. That he has got the ula fala back, and he's going for the title. That Roman Reigns is playing chess, other people are playing checkers, and I have a much more bigger goal. And I'm entering the Rumble because I don't want Roman to be the champion. And that was it from Drew McIntyre's promo. And I liked it. I didn't like him going, oh, there is a tournament, Royal Rumble, because you sometimes have to read the crowd. The crowd was not into that bit, but overall, it was a great segment. It furthered stories. And the Rumble is getting more and more stacked. You had a Seth, Sammy also um, promo in the back, where I think like the Public Enemies podcast, or like Mike on Twitter said, it was essentially, Sammy was like, you lost to Punk, I am a good friend, if you want to talk about anything, I can lend an ear or something. And Seth essentially called him a dick rider in response. He was like, it was a great week for you. You helped your boy Roman win the Ulafala. Are you going to, help him become the champion also? Win the Royal Rumble also? Like what? Like when are you going to fight for yourself? And then they had Sammy with his internal doubt as well, and I liked it. Sammy's facial expressions, top notch. And I think this is setting up, probably in the future I would like, Drew being the champion maybe on SmackDown, and Sammy taking it off him. That will make a great storyline, like Sammy finally defeating Drew, ending his losing streak against Drew and winning the big one. That will be a great story in the future. I like it. It furthers more and more stories. Then also you have to talk about. I think I've talked. Sheamus versus Kaiser also happened. It was a fine match. I missed most of it because we had ads because of Sony Live. Sheamus won. I think even if I missed the match, the general consensus I got was it was probably like their weakest match, Sheamus and Kaiser, but it was still a good match. And according to other people, I can't really form an opinion on it. But then you had Braun in the crowd. I really liked that this time it was not like a full-on brawl and full-on officials trying to interrupt. It was just like a little bit push by both of them, and it has been confirmed. Sheamus is going to face Braun Breaker for the IC title. I just don't want Sheamus. I want, like, the thing is, Sheamus always getting beaten for the IC title is kinda getting old. But the thing is, I would want him to win on a Saturday night's main event. Like, it's a glorified house show. Like, the match is next week, and they just announced it like this time. They don't care, and I will blame it on NBC also. Like, why are you giving them a Saturday night's main event just before the Rumble? Like, they obviously won't care. Like, they would care more about the Rumble show. So Sheamus versus Braun Breaker is it. I think what's probably going to be the storyline is Braun Breaker still, like, Braun. It will be the storyline that Braun Breaker always has an upper hand against Sheamus. I think that's what's gonna happen. Like, Braun had an upper hand against Sheamus due to Ludwig interfering. Braun had an upper hand against Sheamus in the triple threat match as well. He beat Ludwig. Here also, I think Braun will have an upper hand, and then you can build a story where eventually it will be like Sheamus against Braun at WrestleMania, and it will be you have always had an upper hand against me, but this time I will get you, and Sheamus will win the IC title. I think that's the way that you go out it. The thing is with I will also make a video about the problems that I've had with Gunther's and Braun Breaker's title reign, but I think right now this is fine stuff because it's the mid card belt. I think it's fine stuff. Then you had Gunther and Jey Uso. Like Gunther, like his promo today showed me that how much disservice WWE has done towards him. Like I get that Seth, Sammy, Punk, Drew, Jay, they are like your top storyline because they're the interview one storyline with the bloodline. They have lots of layers, but you can always add a Gunther to it because he has the World Heavyweight Championship. Because adding another story layer, which in the kayfabe world of wrestling should be like the biggest thing, which is the World Championship, would make the stories more popular than they were before also. They could have done that, but they never do. Same with Damian Priest. They had him only one time, which was against, two times you can say, which was against Seth Rollins and which was against Drew McIntyre, that it felt like that was a top storyline on Raw. You can just, you know, put the world champion in that interwoven storyline as well. It can work, but they never do it. I hope they do it going further. Like Gunther essentially said what like the internet marks were saying, which we can kind of agree. Like it was all blitz and everything, but the wrestling was not good. People are fighting over irrelevant things like who is the head of the table and who is the best in the world. While the most thing that should matter is the world heavyweight championship. So who is there who can come out and face me? And ironic thing, he's talking about work rate, and the first person that comes out is Jey Uso. Like Jey Uso has his entrance, and you can say like Jey Uso is fucking panting when he's speaking because he is so gassed up by his own entrance, and Jay is like with his usual yay, and he's like, I am past Drew. He won against Drew. I'm past the bloodline family drama. He said the bloodline family drama, so I'm going for the world heavyweight championship. And Gunther had just a song. He was like, bitch, like you're talking about facing me, right? Like whatever you talent you have, I have much more than that. You have much lower than me. We have already faced two times, and I have beaten you two times for the IC championship. like like I am going to expose you for what you truly are, a great tag team wrestler. And he said like, I am down for the match at Saturday night's main event, but you should consider that do you want to step in the ring with me? And then Jay actually had, and then he walked away, and Jay actually had to like shut the fans, like, don't eat me. And he did his, the promos that we always like, with the serious face and everything, that I have been always doubted, always called a tag team wrestler, the other Russo and everything. But the thing is, as I have shown, I always get back up every day. People have said that you shouldn't be selling this much more, but I always get back every day because I have earned it. And I accept your challenge at Saturday night's main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. And if all of the people show this fool that if you want Jey Uso to be the world champion, in 3, 2, 1, say yee. And that was that. We have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. I think all of us, like internet fans, will be like always on the edge of our seat because they can have Jay win the World Heavyweight Championship as well. And I hope Gunther tells Jay before their match at Saturday night's main event, you know what, Jay? I'm going to make you a star. Not a star that you already are, like in terms of charisma and everything, but an in ring star. You're going to go out there, and we're going to have them on the tips of our finger, like every near fall, and we are going to make like an in ring star out of you. And I hope they do, because if anyone can, Gunther can, and I hope they do. And people are saying, Gunther is not going to defend at the Rumble. I will rather have him be in a main event than defend it at the Rumble and be in the mid card. Like here at Saturday night's main event, he will be the main event. Like this match, Gunther versus Jey Uso will be the main event of Saturday night's main event because Jey Uso is on the poster as well, and Cody has already a match at the Rumble against Kevin Owens. So that was good also. I think apart from the street fight, I have covered everything, and yeah, we are getting WrestleMania rematch, Seth versus Drew next week, which is good. Like Seth and Drew really have not had even one match after the WrestleMania match. Even though they had like lots of matches before their WrestleMania match, they had the day one match, they had their match at Crown Jewel also. So, but they've not had even one singles match after WrestleMania against each other, which is like really good. It's going to be awesome. I hope they get time, uh, and they like their match at WrestleMania was like the good opener. But I hope they have like a proper match instead of like finisher spamming, and they get time next week. JBL is returning. I don't know what will he do. Like what will Penta attack JBL? Like what Wyatt Six will attack JBL or something? I don't get what JBL does. I think more things will get announced, but I think these are the only things that are announced. Along with that, New Day is going to be in action, but they have not said that if it's the LW or not. Like, is the LW someone is injured or something? Because I like many plans have changed. First, it was supposed to be a mystery partner. It was supposed to happen on Netflix first week, I think. Then it got changed. It didn't happen this week, and then suddenly New Day is returning to action, but it's not against LW or something. It's not even mentioned on TV about the LW and the New Day. So I don't know what happens. And the main event was Damien Priest versus Finn Balor, which was like, Damien Priest doing Osprey antics, like no selling a lot of stuff. This was a clusterfuck in the best way. They gave them a lot of time. I think they went like 20 something minutes in the match. They didn't even have that many long entrances. Like Damien Priest had an entrance and Finn attacked him. Like this was something else. The Falcon Arrow from the top of like 15 rows or something. Like I think JD said it, like it was 15 rows or something, which was great. Like people were telling on Twitter, like, Unk, stop, you don't need to do this. Like a combined age of 84 years or something. I think something wrote that on Twitter as well. Like they went crazy in this match, like a lot of plunder, and that was what their bad blood match needed. Because coming out of SummerSlam, this was probably one of the hottest things on the show. But you know they had the neutered Judgment Day, dead on arrival, had them getting beat up by Damien and Thea at every stage. At which stage did the New Judgment Day actually win? Bash at Berlin, They should have won, but they the New Judgment Day lost at Bad Blood. Rhea won technically by disqualification, and Finn Balor lost in a match, a typical match. This was the match that should have happened in Atlanta at Bad Blood, but I'm not mad with it. Like, this was a crazy main event on Raw, a proper pay-per-view style match, and they have probably got a lot more minutes that they would have gotten on a pay-per-view apart from like Mania or something. And they had a great match. Like, it was essentially like no selling or anything, which was like okay. Like, Damien is essentially being like a mix of Undertaker and Hogan there. But the thing is, the stretcher spot was good. I thought that the match is ending. What is the match ending right now? But then Damien, went crazy, brought him back, and Finn did like a very great slide into the ring. Then when he hit the South of Heaven, I actually thought the match was going to end. I thought, I get it, the match is ending, but it is going to be a damp end. But it didn't. Then I thought, oh, they're actually going to have Finn Balor win. He hit the Judgment Day attacked, and he hit the coup de grace. He didn't win. Then you had War Raiders come out. Ivar did an unnecessary cartwheel. They went after the New Judgment Day. And also, like, it's going to be like next month. I think it's probably going to be like 1 month since War Raiders have won the championship. Why have they not defended? We got the report that the titles will be defended more, but we have not got anything. I hope next week we have some kind of tag team number one contenders tournament or something again for War Raiders Tag Team Championship, because it's going to be a month and the War Raiders have not defended the titles. Like, Johnny Gargano and Champa like just won the titles and they have defended it like what, last week. Of course, it was a no contest, but at least they defended it. Like, War Raiders have not defended. I hope they get renewed focus. The tag team titles get renewed focus. No one is saying like make them the main event. Just give them time, give them stories, give them their portion on TV, and that's that. Then also Finn hit like a crazy coup de grace on the table, which Damien no sold. He just got up and put Finn through a barricade. He hit like a razor's edge outside the outside table uh, for Finn. He went inside. He said, "You're not my, I'm not my brother's keeper," and hit it with a South of Heaven and won. And I think this is the end of the Judgment Day feud. And I think now the Judgment Day will probably go to SmackDown. Huh? The Judgment Day will probably go to SmackDown. And Damian Priest, I would hope that now Damian Priest goes on to a feud with Braun Breaker. Like, that will be a really great thing. Of course, you have the Rumble, but after that, like, Damian Priest having matches with Braun Breaker, like, now Damian probably has a win back. He has momentum. Him against Braun Breaker will really work. Braun is an up and coming. He's over. Damian Priest is over with the crowd. I think it will really work. Braun versus Damian should be Braun Breaker's feud after his feud with Sheamus. Overall, I will give this show a 4.5 out of 5. The Rhea, I don't really need to talk about the Rhea Nia Jax Bailey segment. Only thing I would talk about is I would have done the segment a little bit more, different. That I would have had, Rhea come out and say that, it's not only a new chapter for the women, for me as Liv Morgan has ended. It is a new chapter for this women's championship also. I have dominated earlier before too. I had like a near 1 year title reign, but I want to face new people. Like, Liv is behind me, and new people. Bailey is in the stands, and I call you out, and then you can have Naya interrupt her and did the whole stick that she did already. That way, the segment would be, you know, received more well by the audience as well, and it will make much more sense too. And it also felt like this segment was just like thrown at the last. Like, they just announced Rhea will speak, and at the last moment they said, "Oh, Nia Jax Bailey will do that." Nia came through the transport. Nia also called Bailey BBL Bailey and all that. But that was that. The show I will give a 4.5 out of 5. I think the Rhea segment kind of like dampened me off. Apart from that, I really like the show, and I hope we get more shows like this. So that was it for me today. That was my raw review. please donate to my UPI ID Shabwa, that is okay ICICI. Please go follow me on my social media links, Twitter and Instagram link is in the description. If you like this video, like, share and subscribe. If you don't like this type of content, share it with those who do. And that was it for me today. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.